Hello everyone, Rurikhan here with TGN, and today I'm going to be bringing you some Taral V action with my Sage. As you guys know, I'm currently playing two characters, both a Sage and a Scoundrel. Scoundrel I would probably consider my main because it's probably the character I've spent more time developing. However, currently I've been playing a little bit more on my Sage, you know, getting that healing action going so that I can eventually get to level 50 and, you know, make you guys some more guides, hopefully some heroic guides, because I mean, these particular instances that I am fighting here are not particularly hard. I mean, Taral V is a pretty simple instances. You got a couple of jungle beasts here, you got some Empire, but you don't even need CC in my opinion, because as you can see, it is just being a complete breeze healing through this. It's not really ridiculously challenging or anything like that. So yeah, even in a couple of situations up ahead, you will actually see me go ahead and switch into DPS a couple monsters, like right here I'm pulling a telekinetic throw because there's just not a lot to heal, and as I've mentioned before, your party is actually required to lose a significant amount of health before you should heal as a Sage, because your main heal is actually a big heal. Your most efficient heal, so to speak, at least at the level that I was doing the instance, is a pretty heavy heal, so to speak. So we're going to be progressing in here, and I wanted to show you guys this section because for those of you who still have not gotten into this instance, or for those of you who have not gotten into SWTOR, I wanted to show you, you know, certain sections of the Flashpoint because I think they're fun, like the way that the two jungle beasts just creep up on top of the tower, and you know, it gives you that whole ambush feeling. And when you actually get to this bridge, there's actually a battle already going on between the beasts and the Empire, so you know, it's a kind of cool little detail, and I want to show you guys some content. But as you can see, healing the instance is not really that challenging, and we also have a group that is not entirely the best group for me because every single person in this group is a Jedi. Therefore, if you actually get, you know, loot, it might be a little bit hard to settle it, but I mean, we didn't really have any particular problems with it. I mean, I do believe they were all pretty much geared out from this place because I got most of the drops from my class anyway, so it wasn't really a problem to me. So in here we're going to be engaging the very first boss. It is Handler Gatan. Did I misspell that name? I might be misspelling that name, but anyways, the trick about this boss is, in my opinion, I didn't really went through any strategies with the people I was with at the time that I came to the boss, but as you can see, we already lose 1 DPS there. But in my opinion, the best way to handle this boss is just focus target the main boss, the guy that actually shoots, and ignore the cats, because it's pretty easy for the healer to heal through the cats, and just focus down the boss as fast as possible and then deal with the cats at the end, which is not what my party chose to do here. And I don't even know what happened with Akusan there, but he just died so fast. He just got nuked from orbit. However, I will be skipping ahead of the fight because this fight actually took quite a while, because we actually do not have 1 DPS, and these guys actually take quite a while to go down. And as you can see, at this particular point in time, I actually do not have force. So how do you handle a situation like this? Well, basically what I tend to do is I just put Rejuvenate on myself and start using the what's it called, the Noble Sacrifice. So basically you put heal over time on yourself, and you use Noble Sacrifice, so you get your life back kind of, but you still get a little bit of spare force that is just enough to keep you going. And that's pretty much how I lasted this fight. I believe this fight lasted somewhere to 10 minutes. I'm not exactly sure. It was a long ass fight because we were missing 1 DPS, and it was just really annoying. And as you can see there, the tank almost going down several times in this fight. We made the fight look harder than it actually is, because this fight is actually incredibly easy, in my opinion, if you just focus down the main dude, which is the dude we're killing right now, and just leave the cats for last, because it's not like they do all that much damage anyways. So just keep that in mind when you're facing the the handler here. And as you can see, still using the strategy I was telling you guys about, basically rejuvenating myself and using Noble Sacrifice to keep the mana flow going. As soon as he died, we proceeded onward here into the Imperial base. And here's a little something fun that I did as a Sage as well, which is you stun people with your throw thing, and then you just get to do the kick animation there. I don't exactly know the name of that kick animation. I was about to call it a cheap shot because it works kind of the same way as the Scoundrel cheap shot. But like I've said, in this particular Flashpoint, there's not a lot of situations where you're going to be running into difficulties. So here is another boss. This time around, it is Captain Shivanek. And as you engage Captain Shivanek, he's going to pull out his beast. And yes, I understand that sounds incredibly bad. But he does pull out his little buddy there, Ripper. And what Ripper does is he does an AoE stun. So usually it is ideal for the tank to just tank him away from Captain Shivanek and just have your DPS stack on top of Captain Shivanek, because Captain Shivanek doesn't really make that much damage. The main damage dealer, I mean, none of them makes any particularly significant amount of damage at this level, to be completely honest, because I mean, normal mode instances are just not that challenging. But if you wanted to do this tippity-toe, like maximum perfect strategy, you would probably tank Ripper away from the main boss and just have your DPS completely focus on the main dude, which we didn't do. We just tanked him on top of the boss and just killed the boss and then killed him. I mean, it's not really a big deal at this level. When I get to the heroic mode, hopefully I will give you guys a more precise strategy, because like I said, it's not entirely challenging. I also like how everyone got knocked down there and I seem to be the only one who reminded to use the escape ability. But yeah, Ripper here going down pretty fast, and boom, that's it for this particular boss. Disable the security grid.
Well done, my friends. We now have access to the Empire's communications. Do you read me?
I'm present and listening.
Our data slicers are quietly shutting down the Empire security grid. The enemy's in for an unpleasant surprise. The time for subtlety is almost over. Make your way carefully to the fortress, but once you arrive, strike quickly and hard.
This would be easier if you weren't jabbering at me all the time. You're the worst backseat driver I've ever met.
Normally people are stepping on my toes. Point taken. I'm sending coordinates to the fortress. The Grey computer is amazingly compact. You'll have no trouble carrying it out. I'll keep quiet from here on, unless it's an emergency. Oteg out.
And it seems our female party member there wasn't too pleased with Oteg's constant interference. So here we are at another bridge, and I wanted to call out your attention in this specific bridge to the fact that those robots you see there, the Imperial Mark IVs, they actually have a knockdown ability, which can actually knock people down from the bridge, which is what happened there to Offek, and Offek did fell down from the bridge and die. So just be careful when you are positioning yourself close to these droids, because they are incredibly annoying. Also, for this particular instance, if you are a character that uses stealth, be aware, because these particular droids can detect stealth from like 1,000 miles away. Like, you could be literally across state from that droid and he will detect stealth. So I'm just saying. And here's another something that I like doing a whole lot. Just getting over there and blasting people out of the bridge. I mean, you should always use your environment in SWTOR. It's not only a lot of fun, it is also incredibly effective. There's always going to be tanks somewhere that you can use and stuff like that. And I just find it really I'm not gonna say innovative, because I do believe it's been done before in other MMOs, but it's still a lot of fun to just, you know, be able to explode barrels and actually make damage onto your enemies and that kind of stuff. So, gonna be crossing the bridge here, just destroying this Sith Dominator, nothing too big of a deal. And me just going up ahead and blasting a whole couple of more people off the bridge. Just because, again, it's a lot of fun blasting people out of bridges. I mean, anyone who has a pushback ability knows what I'm talking about. And yet another explosive barrel there. We can't let that go to waste now, can we? Bye! And once again, that droid, you gotta be careful with that droid, like I've mentioned. Be careful with the droids. Droids are annoying. They don't not only detect stealth 1,000 miles away, they will also push you out of bridges. Healing through trash mobs in this particular instance is not, like I've mentioned before, is not ridiculously hard. You can just keep on doing your standard rotation. As a sage, that usually just implies you going ahead and spamming benevolence, if I'm not mistaken. It's benevolence or deliverance. I always get the two mixed up. It's the long cast heal that heals for a whole lot. We are now moving further into the Imperial base. And we will be facing up a couple of bosses here soon, I believe. Something to keep in mind, there is a bonus in this particular instance, and the bonus involves you basically activating a whole bunch of consoles and destroying a whole bunch of other consoles. Just bear that in mind before you actually reach the boss that is a giant robot, because once you perform that fight and you move into the base, there is no going back. So make sure that you do everything you wanted to do out here before you go inside after the big robot. Here, just showing you some image of the interiors that you guys can watch in this particular flashpoint. I actually like this flashpoint a lot because, well, for one, it's a long flashpoint, so it gives you a couple of hours of entertainment, and it has a good mix of interiors and exteriors. So it lets you experience, you know, the whole feeling of being inside these Imperial military bases, and also the feeling of being in a jungle type planet with the beasts and all that kind of stuff. In this particular section, we actually have the group separated, because I don't know why the group just basically separated themselves. The tank just came up an elevator, everyone else just went different routes. So I'm just running back and forth, healing the tank and healing all the other people. Here we have another situation where there's a barrel there that you can basically explode and make a whole bunch of damage on your enemies, which is something that I just never get tired of doing, interacting with the environment. It's always pretty damn sweet. Killing the Imperial bulwark there. And that is one of the consoles that I've mentioned you guys have to slice. I already have someone else slicing it there, so I can just focus on healing the tank as he proceeds to dispatching a couple of more Imperials here. It's just, I mean, these flashpoints might not be entirely revolutionary, so to speak, but the game it's something new because it's in the Star Wars universe, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I wasn't expecting to really enjoy the game as much as I'm enjoying. So here we have another boss. This time around we have Dr. Zarin, I believe, and thing about this boss, whenever these pets are out, he's going to be receiving less damage because he gets a shield on himself, so he receives less damage from everyone. So what you want to do is you obviously want to get rid of these ads as fast as possible, which is what Offek is doing there with the Forcequake on top of all of them, which is always fun. You gotta love that Forcequake. I just recently got it and I love the crap out of Forcequake. Fortunately, I did not have it at the time of this instance, which was quite disappointing. Here, pulling a couple of kinetic throws on the good old Doctor, just because he deserves it. But again, not incredibly challenging, not really, you know, not really the type of boss that you will struggle through, I think. It's just a whole matter of killing the ads as they come up and eventually killing the boss. It's not really extremely hard. I mean, I know that I've said this a whole bunch of times that it's not extremely hard, but I mean, this is normal content still. I'm still waiting to, well, I'm not waiting, I'm still working to get to level 50 so that I can show you guys some heroic content, which is going to matter a whole lot more, at least in my opinion. So here we're killing another Sith Dominator. Just wanted to show you this particular Sith Dominator because there's a chest behind him that you guys can get. So it's just basically an incentive for you guys to explore all the buildings in this particular flashpoint. If you are so inclined, I mean, you can always skip through most of the content. here's another boss, Lord Hasper. Now, Lord Hasper was actually a pain in the ass because Lord Hasper has this pole that he does, and I believe that you can use line of sight to avoid getting pulled, but I would think that the game mechanics would allow you to get pulled and move away. Like this, you see, you get pulled, you move away, but everyone still takes a ridiculous amount of damage for some strange reason, because look how far Akusan ran and he was still taking a whole bunch of damage. I'm not sure if that's intended or not. I think that the intention is that you get pulled and you can run away fast enough not to take that much damage. But as you can see, I'm kind of struggling here to keep the whole party alive, because everyone is just taking extreme amounts of damage, and all of a sudden those pulls come in, and when they do, like this, and as you can see, my life is just like completely down the drain at this point. So is the tanks. I can't even focus my camera on the action. I'm just focusing on that party, on those party frames, making sure that everyone's alive. And maybe here would have been a good time for benevolence, but as you can see, I'm already out of force, and we're still not even halfway done, I believe. So it is kind of a tough fight, this particular boss. But I'm not sure if it's hard or it's just not easy to figure out what kind of mechanics the boss involves. Because as you can see there, I got killed, which is weird because I'm at a considerable range from the boss. I shouldn't be getting targeted. And from that point onward, it was basically an uphill battle because my party here is just trying to do everything they can to get this guy down as fast as possible. And we have the other sage that was in the party also throwing up a couple of heals, trying to make sure that we don't go down. But the damage this guy makes is just too hard. Like, look at that. Everyone just taking loads and loads of damage. Down goes the tank. Almost down goes the main source of DPS right now, which is Akusan, because our other sage is just working as a healer. Akusan is going to try and tank the boss, but I don't really think that's going to be working out for him. Down he goes, and now only the sage left, and we were like, oh my god, no, please no, but no, he is going to be taking it down. Good job there, Afek, and yeah, we took him down. Like I said, you just got to figure out how to evade that AoE lighting. In my opinion, you just need to run further away than I did, and everyone should be fine, but everyone needs to run. That includes the tank, because otherwise the healer has to stop to make sure that everyone is okay, and that is just incredibly annoying. In the meantime, as you can clearly see in the video, we did start another fight. We are fighting the big robot I've mentioned. I don't know exactly what his name is. Rurikon, you should do your homework before you actually do these commentaries. Whatever, it's the big giant robot. It's not like it's a... You guys are going to miss it or anything. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to figure out when you're fighting the big giant robot. So what is the main strategy for the big giant robot? Well, basically just DPS and stay out of the AoE, which will be clearly marked by a red circle on the ground. And that's pretty much it. Every now and then he's going to be making attack directed at certain party members. Like right now, he just threw missiles at me, as you guys could see. But those attacks do AoE damage, so you want to keep your party fairly spread out, so as not to receive AoE damage on top of more than one person. It also helps you when you get the ion strike there, because obviously you can see the red circle on the ground, and if he targets just one person and everyone is spread evenly, only one person will get damaged, which will make the healer's life a whole lot easier. But apart from that, there's not a whole lot else to this boss. Just be prepared to eat a couple of missiles in the face. Try to keep your party spread out so as not to get more than one person nuked at the same time. And apart from that, just nuke him down. And obviously dodge those red circles in the ground. I mean, come on. If there's an ion cannon firing from orbit at your face, you do not want to get hit by that now, do you? As you can see there, once again, the rockets. But it does have sweet animations on those rockets, I have to say. They look pretty sweet. It's almost worth getting hit by them just to see the animation. As you can see here, not really posing nearly as much of a threat as Hasper there, probably because we have a better grasp of the tactics used for this particular boss than we did for the other one. Here I got myself a new robe, which was pretty sweet, if I can say so myself. It's a pretty sweet robe. And from here on in, we go inside, and this is what I've mentioned to you guys is the point of no return. After you go inside this base, the base closes up, and this is why.
On my doorstep, fortune has always favored me. You've all made quite an impression on the galaxy since our last meeting. Congratulations. Sadly, your victories end here. My fleet is about to bombard your position from orbit.
I've survived worse. Seeing your face, for starters.
Schoolyard insults. I expected better from the Republic's so-called finest. It's been a pleasure catching up, but you won't escape this time. Do you read me? I monitored that transmission. My fleet is moving to intercept the bombardment. I'll do my best to keep the Grand Moff busy, but you need to hurry. Find that green computer and get out of there.
So as you can see, you are now locked inside this Imperial base because you are being bombarded from orbit, which is incredibly annoying if you did not get enough of those consoles for the bonus quests. However, there are still some consoles inside the base, so I do believe that I've seen at least 3 or 4 of them. So in case you've missed a couple of the ones that you destroy, you can actually destroy some in the base and still get credit for it. Just make sure to explore the base as much as possible, and you should find a couple of them, like right here. There's actually a console to the left, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, as you can see it there. That is one of the consoles that you can destroy. There's also security chest there, which is the main reason why you came here. And boom! Jedi kick to the face. Gotta love that. Still don't remember the name of that skill. That's just ridiculous, but yeah. Boulder to the face is also always nice. Still, I would like to know how exactly did I just pull a boulder from the ground, considering that I'm standing on top of a graded fence. Okay. But moving onward, we are going to be killing a couple of more people in this base. I wanted to give you guys, you know, the visuals of this Imperial base, because I think the base looks pretty cool. It's pretty well done. And this is the final boss right here, the final boss fight. If you completed all the bonus quests, you should be able to activate the console that I was working on, and that will destroy the first 2 turrets in this boss for you. After that, this fight is actually a really simple fight, the General Edekar fight. The main thing about this fight that you have to keep in mind is debuffs. And I wish there was a better way for the party frames to actually display debuffs. You know how you would usually have your little World of Warcraft mod that would show you everyone's debuffs properly and that kind of stuff. And here you don't really have that. So there's 2 ways to go about it. Either take your eyes off your raid frames every now and then and visually check to see if someone is on fire. Or if someone is taking much more damage than you would expect, they're probably on fire, at which point you will have to use whatever spell you have that allows you to cleanse debuffs. From time to time during this fight, ads will come, and when those ads come, you basically just have to kill the ads as fast as possible and then move back on the boss. You won't be able to DPS the boss as well as long as there are ads alive, at least as far as I can tell. The skills on the boss are interruptible, therefore if you are a tank or DPS with interrupts, you should be able to interrupt quite a lot of the damage that comes out. There's another grenade there in the tank, as you can see, he was on fire there. Cleansed him. Cleansing should always be a priority because that fire damage that comes through in this particular boss is quite intense, and the very first time I did this fight, I wasn't a healer, I was DPS, and our healer was having tremendous problems dealing with that fire damage until we finally were like, why don't we just cleanse it? And oh, wait, that actually makes sense. It's because the game doesn't really force you to cleanse anything up until this point. At least as far as I can tell on the Republic side, there isn't really a fight where you massively benefit from cleansing negative effects. So this is really, in my opinion, the very first fight where you will actually have to use cleanse and similar mechanics for whatever character you happen to have. So basically, if anyone is struggling with this fight, that should be pretty much all you got to do. Just focus on cleansing, taking those ads out as fast as possible. Don't worry about the boss when the ads are out, and you should do just fine. As you can see here, I am running low on force once again, using that tactic I told you guys about. Rejuvenate on yourself and pop that noble sacrifice. Just be careful not to take aggro, because obviously this does put you in a relatively vulnerable state. Here, I'm basically just healing myself a little bit just in case the boss throws the flame grenade at me, because like I told you guys, the flame grenade is the main damage dealer in this particular fight. It would also be awesome if people would interrupt it more often, but oh well. And level 35, always pretty sweet. Dinging on a boss, you know, makes the fight that much more epic. Just gonna let you guys enjoy the dialogues now. See you guys in the next one.
Slaughtered dozens of innocents to what? Steal our research? This facility is on a mission of peace. We're charting the Maelstrom Nebula for the good of all.
Surrender the technology you're using to navigate the nebula, and you won't be harmed.
Like the other personnel you spared, I'm no fool. When the rest of the galaxy hears of this unprovoked assault, the Republic's evil will finally be exposed. Your names will become synonymous with your government's extermination campaign against us.
We are the guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy. But there can be no peace without justice. Your empire oppresses, enslaves, and murders all who don't submit. I cannot permit that to continue.
We've only ever defended ourselves. It's you who oppress us. You're condemning hundreds of civilian science vessels exploring the Maelstrom Nebula. Electromagnetic radiation alters the safe navigation routes every moment. Without precise and timely coordinates from the Gree computer, thousands of good people, innocent scientists, will be trapped there forever.
The Republic doesn't leave civilians to die. Transmit fresh coordinates to your science vessels and order them home. Then the computer's ours.
But our research, all that dangerous exploration will have been for nothing without a complete map. Transmitting the coordinates now. The computer is yours. I hope it breaks the first time you use it.
Taking heavy losses and the fortress defenses are crumbling. There's no more time. Take the computer to the fortress shuttle bay. You can fly out in one of their ships. We'll rendezvous in Republic space. Now go! Cut your escape awfully close. Grand Moff Gilran destroyed the fortress just moments after you left. We suffered heavy losses at Taral V, the Dantooine, the Sirocco. More starfighters than I care to count. But there's no time to mourn the dead. We must strike the Empire's prison before the enemy bolsters its defense.
Down on Taral V, your Jedi friend sent warnings. She didn't appear, but it was definitely her voice. Good.
She's a powerful ally, and her counsel is useful. Always listen. My technicians have plugged the Gree computer into the Telos' hyperdrive. We're already calculating a safe route to Maelstrom Prison. When we arrive, I need my best people leading the raid. You're the Jedi prisoner's only hope of escaping alive.
The Force has brought us together. I will see this through, wherever it leads.
Let the Force be your guide, but keep your eyes open too. This mission will cost more lives before it's done, but it's a necessary sacrifice. The Jedi prisoner can end this war, save countless worlds. We'll be jumping to hyperspace soon. Head for the shuttle bays. Be ready to launch on my signal. May the Force be with you.